The snap, the put down, the swing of the leg. It is on its way. It is good! Cincinnati wins the American Championship.
Here comes the quarterback, Burrow, looking for a block, and he got it up in the front by Hopkins into the end zone. Touchdown! What a skip!
As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run. And so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game.
Welcome back. We had a week off last week because the All-Star break. We decided to take a break too. So now we have this situation where apparently all the Reds are still on break. They're all still on break.
Yeah.
Come on, Votto.
What a disappointment.
You say that right as Votto makes an error.
What a disappointment this comeback from the All-Star break has been between, winning the last 3 games of the 4-game series against Milwaukee. And what's happening right now?
Fixed it. We're good.
Best producer in A. Thanks, Ed.
He might be one
plugged in, and that's on me. That's on me.
He might be 1B right now. But so they took 3 going into the All-Star break from the Brewers in that 4-game series in Milwaukee. And then you get home after a nice little hiatus, and Nick Castellanos gets hit on the hand.
That was targeted.
And everything unravels without Nick Castellanos. Everything unravels.
Yeah, it's been rough. I mean, I guess the first game they had a lead there against Milwaukee. Then that was the game he got hit in the wrist. Mm-hmm. And then the bullpen came on, and we know about the bullpen woes. Whether whether people have said that they've been good of late, I don't know that they've been good. They've just been better than awful for a little bit.
Have they?
And then, there's been some struggles, and they've continued. And unfortunately, when you have the biggest series, I would say, of the season, immediately following the biggest series of the season, which they did well in Milwaukee, and then you come back here and you drop 3 in a row, and then last night you go out again. You jump all over the Mets early on, take advantage of all of their mistakes, the plethora of errors that the Mets were making, and then you allow them to slowly climb back into the game. And then there were just I've been I was a David Bell hater. And then I was like, okay, things he's doing, with what he's been given, the way he's working this bullpen situation,
plus the best of his ability, perhaps.
Plus his above the best of his ability, I would say. I mean, to have a team above 500 whenever you have almost no idea what's going to happen once your starters out of the game, and our starters, hadn't been going 7-8 innings. I mean, you look into a pen to take you from usually halfway through the 6th inning through the end of the game, and that's been a crapshoot. So, for him to be able to work whatever magic he can to have that come out with them above 500 at the break and in the thick of things was fantastic. And here is Clay Snowden. Look at that guy.
Way up in here.
God, it's a Southern gent.
It is a Southern gent right there.
He's going.
Y'all are wild.
But then at the end of the game last night, and it was all over Twitter as well, like David Bell made some decisions about who he was going to use and
questionable decisions,
who he was going to pinch hit with and pinch run with, and and these things that I think were head scratchers to say the least. And then today he made it might have been at the end of in his press conference yesterday, but I saw the quote today. He said that he was waiting to use Castellanos in an important high leverage situation.
What could be more high leverage than winning the game?
There were several situations where I could have seen him being used before a double switch to bring in Clay's favorite pitcher from the bullpen, Ryan Hendricks.
Man.
Hi, Clay.
Hey, listen. First off, I have no idea what was going on with David Bell last night. That was a terrible decision, and I completely agree. And the only thing I can think of or hope for is that he was just like after the game trying to like cover his ass somehow and like came up with and just pretty much just said the wrong thing. Because if he really, really was like, we're waiting to, save him for a high leverage situation, like, then even when they brought him in was strange to me. Obviously they should have brought him in earlier, but didn't they, if I remember correctly, didn't they bring him in as like a defensive replacement? Is that right?
He was part of the double switch in the 11th inning. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. It was just so bizarre. I don't know what was going on there. I'm upset.
How bizarre.
What?
He doesn't get the reference, Aaron.
He's not old enough.
Aaron's put himself on mute again so he can rip something.
Are you referencing that terrible song from
the 90s? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, but to go on. And then today, this is totally off topic, but today, they brought back Ashton
Goudeau.
I don't say this lightly. I really think that guy is he's absolutely awful at his job. Absolutely awful. I don't want to see him pitch in a Reds uniform, to be honest with you, but here he is. They're bringing him up and putting Gutierrez down. Now, Gutierrez's outlying numbers were pretty bad, but he's the type of guy that you can develop in the MLB and still be getting better innings than the replacement that you have. At least until they make a move at the deadline. The move is not to send Gutierrez down. The move is to add in a trade and then send Gutierrez down. You're not replacing him with any of these scrubs from Louisville.
Well, I thought, like you said, I thought Gutierrez has been okay. You look at his numbers, and people are like, "Oh, Jeff Hoffman's got better numbers." I thought Gutierrez, I thought he was pretty serviceable since he's been called up, and at least like I feel like he, a couple times he's chewed up some innings and done well enough to get the red.
He's been a big stinker, if you want to say it. I mean, he's been terrible. I don't care if he was maybe injured, maybe not, but why wouldn't you want to take your chances with Hoffman in the bullpen as opposed to Gutierrez pitching? It doesn't make sense to me.
Hey, Ed, who would you rather have, Jeff Hoffman or Gutierrez?
If I had to make my choice, I might pick Jeff Hoffman.
You would.
Sorry, I'm trying to tweet out a link to the show.
And then like last night when he pulled Winker out of the game, like that was in the 10th going to the 11th, I think.
Winker should never be pulled from a game.
It was when he pinch ran Aquino for Farmer and then brought in Freeman to hit, and then he had to keep Freeman in the game because he just took his shortstop out of the game to put Aquino. There were a lot of questionable things that occurred at the end of that game last night that I thought, the Reds had a good chance there when, they kind of clawed their way back into it after it kind of, they gave up the lead, and it looked like, okay, they've got things going in the right direction here in extra innings, or even at the end of the 9th inning.
There are several players that should never be pulled from a game. I don't care what the righty-lefty matchup is. I just don't care. Winker has proven to be one of those guys. Castellanos is also one of those guys. Joey Votto is still kind of one of those guys. Jonathan India, one of those guys. Like, what are we doing here with this righty-lefty bullshit? I'm so over it. Like, you're over-analyzing the game, and you're costing wins because you're pulling people, and then it's biting you in the ass later on.
Now, I will say they put a stat up. The Mets have brought in that what's his name, Banda. I don't know what his first name is.
Panda.
But they had
Panda.
Yeah, they had brought Banda in, and they made it. There was a stat that like left-handed. He's a lefty, and left-handed batters were batting like 394 off of him in the minors. So, I mean, that's kind of a hard one to look past. You know, if you're gonna.
But these guys are guys that hit on both sides. Like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, do you really want Freeman in the game as opposed to Winker at any point in time? So why are you doing it in the waning moments of the game when you need your best hitters up?
I was just as perplexed as you are now, Aaron.
I think everyone is totally right to just chalk up yesterday's game as an L for David Bell. And I'm not like one of these David Bell haters or anything. I'm just saying I think he was miserable last night. And, you know, we just got to move on and just hope. Well, all we ever do is freaking hope if the team gets better. But you hope that David Bell can learn from that terrible managing last night and, you know, in the end, get better from it.
I mean, he did seem to somewhat take, you know, the blame on some of that, like moving guys around that way. So maybe he did learn from it. But then the other thing that perplexed me is sending Alejo Lopez down. Because I like him.
Yeah, I would imagine that's probably just to get another arm up because of the bullpen. But so he'll have to be down for 10 days before he can get called back up. Same with Gutierrez. So if they want to bring them back up, it'll be, 10 days after they were sent down.
Well, I think it was probably more to get him some regular at bats as opposed to just sitting on the bench.
That could be it too. I just like the way that he plays. You know, like I mean, he certainly gets the bat on the ball.
But you only brought him in
play more than and maybe his extended metrics aren't But I'm fed up with all of that nonsense because
in the last couple weeks
there are some extended metrics that say that Suarez is the next greatest thing, and right now he's batting like 173 or something, and he personally left like 10 people on base yesterday.
In the last couple
9
weeks,
people on base, yeah. An entire baseball team.
Good God. In the last couple weeks, though, Lopez, he hasn't been able to get on the field. So then they bring him in a clutch pinch hit situation, and no surprise, he doesn't come through because A, he's a rookie, and B, he hasn't been in live play in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, and this is why, part of the reason why, first name that came to mind was Lenny Harris. Good pinch hitters, like elite pinch hitters, are always savvy old veterans because they are experienced. They typically know more about the pitchers. They know what pitch is coming. Like, pinch hitting is extremely hard to do. And that's why so many people are not that good at it. And asking a rookie to come in and just hardly play at all, I would have liked to have seen him play more, but I get it. They weren't going to bench. I think he played second base when India got hurt and was a late scratch in Kansas City. And I was at that game, so I got to see my boy Alejo. And then he really should have been playing some third instead of Suarez. And I get it. Suarez, every once in a while, hits a home run, and everyone says, let's hope that this is the turning moment. That's stuff you say in early May or mid-May. That's not something you say on July 20th. Oh, yeah, he's going to turn it around. He's not. He's just not going to be able to turn this season around. Even if he's on fire for the rest of the year, it's still a pretty disappointing season. It's just frustrating at this point, and it couldn't happen to what seems like a nicer guy. So it's just, it's I don't really know what the answer is.
You only say that because you like his parents.
I'm talking about Suarez.
No, Suarez.
thought you were still talking about Lopez.
No, I do like Alejo's dad and aunt apparently, who always tweets something at me in Spanish and I don't know what it says.
You can hit translate.
Yeah, but it doesn't really work well.
That takes the fun out of it.
Google has a translator machine.
Yeah, I know. Alejo Lopez's dad uses it and it does not work well. Receive a big hug, Clay. That's the last thing he sent me.
Receive a big hug, Clay.
I hope you received that hug well.
So I guess my question would be, is Suarez's contract, which once upon a time was looked at as being a gift because he took such a good contract early on, as opposed to having to sign him if we had waited and given him a larger contract, is that contract hard to move at this point? Even if you try to go for what could be, what has been in just 2 years ago?
Yeah, so I'm pulling up the contract right now. It was the average annual salary was $11 million, but that's not the base salary for each year. So he actually, it is for the next 2022 is 11, 2023 is 11, 2024 is 11, 2025 is an option for $15 million. I don't know, like I'm sure a larger market team, if they had a hole at third base, would be willing to take on $11 million. Think of like the Dodgers. The thing about the Dodgers is they don't have a hole at third base. Justin Turner's been very good. But it's not a totally unmovable contract in terms of just like the size of it. But I mean, it would take a very unique fit. And off the top of my head, I can't think of one. Because he is somebody who's hit 49 home runs. And as we all know, as the Reds have done with several players, you're going to bring back players who have had a lot of success and have slumped since. That's just how baseball is. Totally different. In football, I feel like in the NFL, like if you have one bad season, especially if you're a running back, like you're just done. In baseball, you could have a good season in 2017 and still be getting playing time somehow.
Yeah.
It's wild. Absolutely wild.
Like where I'm at now, like I mean, I'm the quintessential like emotional one side to the other fan that it happens to me like really quickly. It's not even a Jeffimus mode. It's like like tonight, like they win tonight, and I look at it and I'm like, oh, the Brewers lost. Like they're back. They'll be back within 6.5 there. I don't know if the Padres game got made up today. They're playing They're
playing, yes.
Did they play a doubleheader today? Do you know if they reschedule it that way?
Tomorrow they play a doubleheader. Today they're losing 1-2 to the Braves right now.
Yeah, so they're playing the Braves. In the top of the 8th, it looks like. So like, you start looking at stuff like that, and you're like, in a bubble, you see what the Reds are doing, and that's not winning since the All-Star break. 4 straight losses. It's not good. But really, they're still right in that like weird striking distance range of like, the Reds don't have, according to a lot of people, the Reds have a pretty weak schedule in the second half here. I mean, they play the Pirates like 13 times, I think. And that should be at least 13 wins.
Pirates 13 times, Ed. That's what that was.
Yeah.
The Reds, according to Fangraphs this morning, I believe the Reds had like a 9.7% chance of making the playoffs. And the reason why is because they're not going to get the wild card. So they pretty much have to win the division. The wild card is pretty much
it's the AL West to lose, or the NL West
to
lose.
The NL West is like a bottleneck. So it's just whichever team doesn't come out of there, the next 2 teams pretty much are going to have the wild card there. So winning the division, I mean, it's one of those things like the Brewers have obviously added, and the Brewers seem to be aggressive and attacking it. And now they still have to go out west, so who knows? They could fall apart too, though. That's the thing. It's not like the my whole thing is the Brewers. Everyone thinks, okay, we got swept in 3 games. Like, this is miserable. This team's bad. Yada
Damn
yada.
it,
Yada.
Keto! Sorry.
Don't ruin it,
Sacrifice
Aaron.
fly with the bases loaded.
What did he
and,
do?
you know,
What were you doing?
Unbelievable base running. But the Brewers are not some incredible factory of a team. This team has flaws too. They
Their
have good
bullpen
starting pitching.
Their
They have good
bullpen's-
starting pitching, but they also don't have. If one of those players gets injured or anything, one starts to slip a little bit, maybe. I don't know. Like, the Reds are not completely out of it, but they're also. It's ridiculous for people to think that. I understand being mad at management for not making the team better, but this team has performed exactly how everyone projected them to. They're around 500. Like, I don't know why some people are surprised by, they act like this team's failing right now. The team's not failing. The ownership or front office is, but the team's doing exactly what they were pretty much projected to do.
And I think that's the part. And I think there were a lot of projections that had them like well under 500.
Wait, so there's a certain someone that was on Twitter last night who was saying we can't keep blaming this on Bob Castellini because there's a bunch of other owners. So apparently he wants us to start blaming it on Jeff Weiler and a couple other people.
Well, I mean,
in case
the thing is Bob Castellini is the face of the ownership. Bob Castellini is the one that went on TV whenever they bought the team and said, losing is unacceptable. We bought the team to win, and they've had 4 winning seasons. So that's the biggest issue. But you have a team that is, I think we talked about this a little bit before Clay got on. I think David Bell has actually done quite a good job with what he's been given out of the pen. And you can't expect for players to be above what they are. And the guys in the bullpen have a ceiling, and that ceiling is really like maybe a AAA ceiling. And you've got them in major league situations. So you can't even really be mad at those guys. They're doing what they can do, and it's on the ownership and the general manager, front office, whatever you want to say, to look at what they've got. They've got a team that is playing pretty well for what they are, maybe even overachieving, and say, okay, if we plug in a guy here or we plug in, a couple, they're not going to go trade for 4 or 5 relievers in the next week. It's not going to happen. They need
to piggyback off that, Jeff. I was on the Locked On Reds podcast today talking about the Louisville Bats. And
congratulations, you made it.
And I specifically was talking about the bullpen, and there is literally not one single person that can come up from Louisville right now. Maybe Dari Moreta, but even then, you're talking about a 25-year-old rookie trying to come in and save the bullpen. There's just not really an option. I don't think Hunter Green is going to come up and
nor should he.
I agree. Some savior. There's nothing. So if you're going to improve the bullpen, it has to be an exterior improvement. You will not improve it. No one's coming up from either one. Right now the Reds. There is one interesting name, is Nick Howard, 2014 first-round pick of the Reds, took a year or 2 off of baseball, has come back, and has like a 2.25 ERA in 20-something games in Chattanooga, and just got called up to Louisville the beginning of this week. So, he's 28 years old. He's not, just if he pitches well in Louisville, screw it, throw him in Cincinnati, and that seems to be the plan of attack for everybody else in the bullpen.
Yeah, and I just keep going back to like how frustrating it is. Like, and like you see like Jonathan India after the game yesterday and his like post game like talk there. He's like, they keep trying to bring up like, hey, you're the first rookie, like only the second rookie since Barry Larkin in 1986 to get on 6 times, and he's like, yeah, but we didn't win. Like, I'm here to win. I'm not here for
Yes.
any kind of personal, like, I'm not here for any kind of personal stats or number, my own numbers. I don't care. I do what I do out there so that this team can win. And obviously they hear and see all of the things that are being put on Twitter, or, maybe they hear some of these podcasts. I don't know if they,
Yes, they do.
you know what I mean? Like, they hear these things. They know that fans are frustrated. They're just as frustrated.
Nick listened to our podcast.
Nick listened
right.
to it.
So I'm sure they had it blaring in the clubhouse.
I'm sure they were.
It's just it's so, because and then the radio silence. That's the other thing I was going to get to. And I know, like, I mentioned I think to Aaron about it, but the radio silence from the front office is just even more maddening, because the only thing that you hear from them, the last thing we heard from them was, when we get healthy, we're going to look and see where we're at. What is that? That doesn't sound like that. Doesn't
How you say
sound
you're
like,
not spending money because you're broke.
that doesn't sound like, hey, we want to go out and win. The flipping Brewers got Adames for like an extra spare bucket of balls. Like,
St. Louis got
Nolan Arenado.
or Arenado for nothing. Nothing. Which is why they're hesitant to move Story out of Colorado, as well they should be, because they got nothing back for the best player that's played in Colorado in the last 5-10 years.
We're not broke.
I've told
We're
you
not.
guys.
We're
I
not
know.
broke.
I've told you guys. It's a simple Google search. We finished right in the middle last year, like somewhere around, I don't know, like 14, 15 as far as income. And we're supposed to be this quote unquote small market. Okay, sure. You can call it a small market if that's what you want to call it, but we're still pulling in plenty of income because TV contracts, which is where all the money is.
Yeah,
They get more TV money if they would freaking put Bally Sports on Hulu.
No, they'd get more money from jersey sales, money from ticket sales, money from, like, it's just a travesty that you come in and you want to talk all this nonsense about how you're going to put a winning product on the field and we're here to win championships. And it's all just bullshit. Like, I'm tired of being fed bullshit from both sides of this river. This side of the river with both of these stadiums. Finally, for maybe the first time in, I don't know, a decade or so, we're seeing Mike Brown start to do some things. But
I think, and I'm included with this, so don't take this the wrong way, Aaron, but we're all fools for believing any of these owners when they say that to begin with.
I
mean,
agree.
what are they supposed to say? Every single owner who's ever owned any team has said, we're going to put a winning team on. Like, of course, that's what they're supposed to say. Why should anybody even believe these people to begin with? They're not there for that. They're there to make money. I mean, if you look around at every single major sports team, you can count on your two hands how many, like, I don't want to use the word fan, but kind of fan, I guess, of the sport is also the owner.
and I think that's
most
where
of them are just random rich people.
But I think that's where baseball has actually failed us more than any other sport. Is you don't have a salary cap, you don't have a salary floor. I don't believe you don't have anything that has to do with spend money on your effing team and put a winning product out there, or at least something that's competitive. And so you have the haphazard Pittsburgh Pirates doing God knows what out there. They haven't fielded a competitive team in, I feel like, since Barry Bonds and Bobby Bonilla were there, truthfully. And I know they did something maybe when
They went to the playoffs. Russell Martin was the catcher.
once.
Starling Marte, hey, they kind of had a dope team.
I don't think that's accurate.
If Mark Cuban owned our team,
I just read the book Big Data Baseball, all about how they constructed that team, and it's like, oh, this is a cool book, and they didn't win it all or anything. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, by the way, the book's over because the team wasn't as good as we made it sound.
I would read a book called Big Data Baseball.
He's a Southern gent.
So Clay, I gotta
While you're doing that,
Southern Bride.
no
Southern
cat.
gent, Southern
My
Bride.
cousin was in that.
So
Is that the Martha Stewart magazine?
no, it's
Is that magazine put out by Martha Stewart?
I hope not.
If it was, my cousin was in it.
oh,
Ed,
wow.
I do not care about your extended family.
You should. They're good people.
Heath Embry just got a strikeout.
If you had to what is your like blockbuster trade that you think the Reds could possibly pull off in the next week? What is it, week and a half before the deadline? What do you like? First, do you think anything is going to happen? Second, what
The
What do you-
blockbuster trade most likely to happen, and I don't even think it's likely at all, would be trading Castellanos. That's
Don't say
it's
it.
the opposite of what you want to hear, probably, but that's the
Don't
most
do it.
likely.
Don't do it. Don't speak it into existence. Don't
So-
say it.
I tell you what, guys, and I
going.
usually give Ed a really hard time. Ed has been on top of his game the past 3 or 4 days. I don't know what's gotten into him.
You're welcome.
He has gotten
Losing.
he has gotten fired up.
Well,
Yeah.
they're going door to door handing out pound pellets.
So you think the Reds are just going to go
Sellers?
full blown like
I think it's more like
halfway
I
sell?
mean, now I want to rephrase what you said. Blockbuster trade, meaning a big time.
yeah.
If it's more likely a big time trade happens in terms of them selling than them buying, is what I should say.
Okay. Do you think that they will? Under what circumstances here do you think that they go try and find? I mean, is there a reliever out there that like jumps off the board as somebody the Reds could like realistically target and bring in without giving up like the farm?
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of. The thing about relief pitching, as we all know, look at Jared Hughes and David Hernandez, is it's fickle. 1 year it's good, 1 year it's bad, and every single year there's random people that are having great years. Look at Paul Sewald. Have you ever heard of Paul Sewald, Ed? No. He plays for the Mariners, and he's been great. There's all
Seems like
kinds
a
of
fitting
these
place
guys.
for Paul Sewall.
Yeah,
Also,
there's all
that-
kinds of these guys scattered across the league that you can get. I just don't know if there's, off the top of my head, like who's the big time name. I don't think the Reds are going to do it. So I just don't. Maybe they go get a
I'd be
middle
okay
tier.
with them bringing a guy like Archie in, like just somebody who has, I don't know, maybe a third pitch that isn't Doolittle at this point. Because God forbid you have more than 2 pitches.
Oh, damn.
But I don't know. I mean, like even the kids they brought in last night, like Garcia pitched well. Garcia pitched really well. And then you took him out for reasons unbeknownst to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the deal with these type of pitchers. Garcia, it's the perfect example of all of these 4A type pitchers where they look good one day and you're like, oh, wow, Josh Osage looks great. And then he comes back down to earth and you realize, oh, man, now I know why, he was free pretty much to sign.
Well,
So,
if you
I
look
mean,
on MLB The Show, Josh Osage is like a 56.
Is he on the
We're
show?
on MLB The Show. I'm still sitting down in Louisville, ready to come up with a 300 game winning hitting streak.
300, you say?
Wow.
Ed, is it possible for you to pull up your slash line for us while we continue talking?
Can you do that? I don't. Let's go
Yes,
to
you
PlayStation
can.
Network. Is that what I do?
No,
No-
you
Nobody
turn on the
knows
game.
that.
You turn on the game.
I want proof. Ed slashing like Freddie Galvis out here, and he just is afraid to admit it.
And he-
What?
he-
Freddie
and he's-
Galvis or Freddie Freeman?
Well, Ed slashing a cool 212, 305, 421 with 6 home runs, 12 RBIs, 1 stolen base, 3% walk rate.
Oh, I'm looking for it.
Is your player built like you, or is he?
Like a brick shit house. Yep.
Hey, did you all see that you can actually set your name? You know how it'll like say your name if you select certain names that it allows itself to say. You
Aaron
can set
Smith
your
is
name
always
up
really easy.
to be Dog Dick.
Thanks, Clay.
Change my name a little bit.
You really took this podcast in a direction I didn't know it was going to go.
I saw it on Twitter, and it's not only hilarious because it's obviously named Dog Dick, but I've got to show you the way that they created the player.
Oh my god. This is really good for the
Give me the
listeners.
link. I can actually play
This
it.
is
That's
really,
Dog.
this is really good
Okay,
for the
Ed, I'm
listeners.
going to send you this so that we can play it for the.
Is it the Dogecoin dog?
I think. Could you all hear this?
I heard a little
God.
bit.
All right, sorry. Ed, play it when we get it. It's a good laugh.
Oh my word. So, I mean, you're kind of like final wrap up thoughts on what you.
Sorry,
How do
sorry,
you-
I did get off tangent there. So here's kind of trade deadline thoughts. I think a move could be made to acquire a middle level reliever. No big splash move. I really don't think that they're going to sell. Really, I mean, Gray, Castillo, and Castellanos are the only people I could see them even being like able to sell that are not. You could sell younger players, but that's not really a thing. Like everyone's saying, like, oh, trade Mike Moustakas for no one's taking on Mike Moustakas. No one's taking on.
You can't trade an injured player anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they're right now, like, you're not trading these players and getting legitimate building pieces for the future right now.
Well,
That's
think of
not-
this though. You do have Moustakas coming back, so potentially you have a third baseman that's going to be better than Suarez. Again, potentially.
Platoon.
That's fine. That's better than running Suarez out there every day. You also have Nick Senzel coming back, where you can kind of do some things with Senzel in India, and you're not putting him at third base.
I'm just
If Senzel
not.
beats
I've
Moustakas
never
back,
been high on Nick Senzel, really. I don't see him as someone who's going to move the needle at all. I mean, he's better than a bench option that we have.
it's just another reason not to start Shogo.
There is no way that's real.
Ed, let the whole thing play.
What?
Let the whole thing play so you can see his dance at the end.
Can you make that screen bigger?
Steps in with his eyes on history. Take a look at his work at the plate in this one as he'll shoot for his 4th homer to put himself in rare company. First pitch of the AB on its way. Oh, and he turns another one around here. And his fine ball game will continue. Give him another one.
What the hell is he
So a
doing?
solo shot here. Dick steps in with his eyes on history. Take a look at his work at the plate in this one as he'll shoot for his 4th homer to put himself.
Was his name really Porpo Dorpo?
Oh man,
That's really funny.
that's something else, is what that is. I mean, I don't think that there's going to be a whole lot done either, and that's why I've been saying that. I just think that they're going to kind of stand pat with what they've got, and just let the season play out the rest of the way. and whatever happens, and maybe then they can reset and try and go after some free agents. And I haven't looked into who may be free agents this next year that they could even. I'm sure there are plenty of people that are be out there that they could maybe go after that aren't DFA guys or guys that are journeyman relievers. So it's frustrating, Clay.
Yeah, and what I was trying to remember what we were thinking about before Dog Dick interrupted us, and Senzel. I think Senzel is a much better bench player than any of the bench players we have right now. I don't see Senzel as someone who's going to come in, start every day, and be like some jolt to this lineup. I mean, what I don't really think he's done anything in his career yet to show us that he would be that, even though everyone expects him to
be the spark.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as high on Nick Senzel as most. I'll just say that. Now, this is kind of a change of subject, but we were talking about, trying to sell. I don't think you can sell any of these players for legitimate building pieces for the future. However, all the reports from the Reds draft, were so good that I've been reading. Especially now that people have done some deep dives in it, national people are writing about how some people think the Reds won the draft, really. So
really,
that's at least good considering how bleak the minor leagues is with positional.
Is that center fielder coming?
That Jay Allen guy signed. Are you talking about the guy?
Yeah, Jay Allen was who I was talking about. Yeah.
I was really worried that I really kind of thought that he might try and go like the football route, because I guess he's also a pretty highly regarded football guy.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as baseball goes, I mean, he was drafted pretty, fairly high, right?
You idiot.
I don't know.
You will know.
But yeah, I thought for sure he was.
Oh, come on!
Oh, poor Ed.
I'm gonna start leaving Ed on mute.
Suarez just got thrown out at third.
At least he hit the ball. Counts as a double.
He hit the wall too.
He got a double, but his on-base percentage went down. I'm just trying to be mean. I'm not being serious, guys. I'm just being mean.
I just saw the play, and if you watch the replay, the umpire waited a second until Suarez was starting to look up so that he could punch directly down at Suarez's face to let him know he was out.
Oh yeah, I'm literally watching exactly what you're talking about.
Man,
so stupid.
Time for Joey.
Oh, it's awful. But so the Jay Allen guy, that kid, I thought I kind of had a feeling maybe he might be one of those guys that gets drafted and then is just I'm gonna go to college and play football or whatever. Especially now with that NIL thing where they can make money off their name, image, and likeness. I don't know how highly regarded he was in football, but I had read that it was pretty high up there, that he had offers and stuff football wise. And there's always a chance that a guy's going to get drafted and then think that he can improve his draft stock the next year by going and playing a year in college baseball. But other than that, I did see very good reports about his baseball abilities. And then the catcher that they took with the compensation, I can't say the word.
35th pick or whatever.
Yeah. I guess he was at the ballpark yesterday because he was getting the Johnny Bench Award or whatever for the best NCAA catcher
from Florida State, I think.
Yeah.
I guess he hit a whole bunch of bombs. His name eludes me. I think it's Matt something.
With one T.
Yes.
Like Latos.
Yeah. Oh. And that doesn't even address.
Hey yo!
That's Clay's
That
favorite
doesn't-
guy.
Ed, what did you think of the Reds draft class, and who was your favorite pick?
Solid. My favorite pick was the first one. It was a good pick out of that school. I think it was high school, right? That was high school. It was a solid pick. I give it a solid B plus, possibly an A minus. But I'm not trying to put too much on it.
What I don't remember. What position was he?
Yeah, he played on the field. Yeah, it was on the field. Probably somewhere out there. Right field or something like that.
That's where Ed is right now.
Any other
Somewhere
question?
out there, right field.
Any other questions, Clay?
Is your hand on your hip right now? That's my question.
No, it's on the arm of the chair.
It looked like you were here with like
You got
your
any other
hand.
questions, Clay? You got anything else? No? Tough guy.
I don't know how to take this. The vaccinator versus the Southern gent. It's a very strange thing.
Why did you do that, Clay?
Why'd I do what?
Oh man,
Unreal.
I did think it was funny. Like right after they drafted that McLean kid, and everybody was like, "Just bring him right on in. He's a shortstop. We need one." like
I said.
no, he needs no. Has he signed yet with the Reds?
The catcher,
The shortstop,
the first pick.
McLean.
I'm not sure if he has, honestly.
There's been 6. Let me look. There's 6 of them that have.
I was sad that the UC pick from last year, Bumpus, didn't actually work out.
I was as well. That was 2 years ago, I think, though.
I don't know.
No, it doesn't look like they signed the that Matt Nelson kid either yet.
No, it does not look like McLean has been signed yet.
But Jay Allen did. So, and then they've had some other guys here. It looks like all the way through their 19th round. Ryan Cardona,
Hey,
right-handed pitcher. Maybe he can go to the bullpen.
can we talk about the Mets announcer?
Oh,
With the skyline, his horrible skyline take. Like,
Guys, before we get in on that, I have to sign off, but I do like Skyline. I'll just put that out there.
We'll say we start talking about a skyline, and the Southern gent signs off.
Oh my god! See you guys.
thanks for coming
Bye,
on, Clay.
Thanks for stopping by.
Bye, Clay. Bye, Clay.
I love when Clay comes by.
How
Yeah.
about that? Yeah.
Are you talking about
you trying to call me out on like my draft knowledge?
Or lack
I
thereof.
know, and your draft knowledge was extensive.
Thank you.
You knew
was
that
not
he
that.
played on. You knew he played on the field.
You knew he played baseball, for fuck's sake.
For sure. Yeah. Well, he could have played other sports too, because if you remember, Amir Garrett played for the St. John's basketball team
Yes, he did.
against
Yes, he did.
Sean Kilpatrick. But the hot take from, is it Mike Cohen? Is that his name?
Gary Cohen, I think.
Gary. Cohen, whatever. I won't take that kind of slander, and I expect a full apology, and it better be on Fountain Square, to be honest.
So here's the thing. Like, I don't know how you're going to just shit on somebody else's food and not have ever tried it. Like, if you tried it and thought it was horrendous, fine.
Yeah.
But, like,
and
you
they tried
just watched a video of food being prepared, and you're just like, oh, I'm going to just throw all this pounds of cheese on. I don't know what we're doing. It's spaghetti. Like, what about that?
A pound of cheese on your way is where you want to go with that.
Well, friend of the show, Ryan Castellanos, really stepped up
To the plate, if you will.
Right up to the plate, or maybe he towed the rubber because pitching. But,
I get it.
Right. But he said he said something like pizza with dough that can't support its own weight or something, is so gourmet.
Oh, because all the New York pizza's floppy as shit.
Oh god, it's awful.
Dripping grease.
And I've tried it, and I think it's awful. I much prefer Chicago pizza.
Chicago style pizza, yeah. They put that like whole patty of.
I'm not here for either of it, really.
Really?
You don't like Chicago style?
Nah.
Or are you just not a pizza guy?
No, I love pizza. I think pizza is probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite food. I like the like Detroit style.
Hey, that's good stuff too. Where they put a little bit of that Parmesan on the crust. Yep.
I mean, I go for Cajun, but that's fine.
I don't.
Pizza?
Yeah, some of us like spicy. Ed.
Nice Beyonce.
I'm just like I really am like a very big fan of Chicago style pizza. Like it's good. It hits the spot.
I'm a very big fan of throwing Chicago pizza in the garbage.
Well, I did see that Skyline
I would
did
expect nothing less out of you, Aaron.
Skyline did tweet Ryan Castellano and said that next time he's in town, it's on him, and he said it's on them, and he said he wanted it just like it was made in the video. So that's a 5-way with beans.
Hit him up.
Well, a 5-way has beans.
Yeah, sorry.
I mean, but I understand what you're
We
saying.
should take him to Skyline.
If he's down, I'm all about it. I
Maybe
love Skyline. Literally, I could eat Skyline like every day. I would weigh like 800 pounds, but I could eat it every day.
Tomorrow I get to find out if you can eat Skyline.
Like
tomorrow's my weigh in.
Ooh.
Are you doing like Weight Watchers?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Kudos.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. I saved a bunch of my points up so I could have this beer tonight.
So I can have 9 conies and a puke.
No. But the puke detracts points.
Thank you.
See, he was actually looking out for himself.
Yep.
So
Like, well, if I eat more than I'm supposed to, then I can actually get away with this meal.
Yeah.
Now,
that's exactly what happens.
I will say, and this kind of goes back to sports related podcast that we have here.
This whole thing has been sports. We've been talking about Skyline because of the Mets and Ryan Castellanos.
Because I hate the Mets. But I never thought that I would say like that the Bengals are like doing more to listen to their fans and like
unbelievable
make an effort like in all facets. You know,
is Garrett coming out of the game already?
I think it's because of the what is it, the daughter, the granddaughter, the niece?
No, it's Mike's daughter.
Oh, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's very old.
Okay, hold on, I'll look it up.
All right.
It's granddaughter. It has to be granddaughter.
Now we have to filibuster, Jeffrey.
It's granddaughter.
Okay.
Because it's Elizabeth. It's Blackburn's daughter. It's granddaughter.
Okay. So, like, she's been the injection that we have needed for probably 2 decades.
And we talked about it with the when we had the Bengals Superfan show
before everybody else took them. Like,
we had that show.
Yeah. When we brought that, the Mount
that
Rushmore
fire, that fire,
the Mount Rushmore of
somebody call 911. PTP's fire's burning on the podcast. Whoa.
Oh man, that's great. If that's not in the intro next time, Ed, I'm gonna be real mad. But yeah, like we brought them on, and I think I'm pretty sure it was the captain who said, from his discussions and things that like the Bengals were just kind of like, we like all the fan, like all the hate and stuff
vitriol.
The vitriol. What a great word.
Yep.
That was coming out was kind of like making like ownership was just like we're not really sure what we need to do, like as far as like reaching out, and then like you got the fans kind of starting to like this like groundswell of like support that's been brought together on social media, and
I don't buy that.
Okay, but here's the thing: is it's got the Bengals to a point where it's not radio silence all the time. It's not just this like, oh, that's the team you got. That's the team we've put together. That's what you get to watch. Like, and you're gonna come watch it because you've got the season tickets, and you like.
No, they're actually making moves and they're doing some things. They got the new jerseys, which everybody's hype about.
Well, and when they did the new jerseys and they went down and they're like, "Hey, Chad, how about you come up here and sit on the throne and be here for the the unveiling and like because."
Well, I mean, you can kind of relate it to Wes Miller and what he's done with
absolutely
the Bearcats and like
absolutely
touching with the like, oh hey, maybe we should tap into our past because people actually like our past. Let's bring some of that back and let's try and celebrate that and get these guys back here to get the crowd just reinvigorated and to like just connect what's happening now where you're trying to win games and you're trying to put like a team together that people want to come to because the Joey Burrow effect. I mean, let's call it what it is. It's 100% what this is all about. Yeah. And so they're evolving for the first time in really our lifetime. And so we've seen the Bearcats do it very, very well with Wes Miller and all of that. And now we're getting to see for the first time in our entire lives in 30 plus years, the Bengals are actually like trying to do some things to keep up with the Joneses.
Well, they're doing things that are keeping fans. They're doing things that are keeping fans like
invigorated in the offseason.
Yes, that's the like. So it's not just like, oh, here's the. I love you, Ed. Here's the the first game of the preseason until maybe the first round of the playoffs. And then, Bengals fans just kind of disappear and go away when that has not been the case. I mean, obviously it's all over social media. You got fans dressing up and helping each other make costumes and like
WWE games dedicated to fans.
Dude, that guy, I don't even want to know the hours that guy has put in to like making all these different characters in the game and then like having the battle royales to declare winners.
Do you know his Twitter handle by chance so we can actually shout him
out?
Sir Grogshire. There it is.
Yeah. Got to make sure my microphone worked. I'm sorry.
But he uses he has a different name that does the Bengals WWE thing.
I think you can find it though from his
from Sir Grogshire.
For sure.
And like speaking of him, I think he had a situation where like his car broke down or something, and people from the Bengals community, Bengals Nation, raised money to help him get his car back. Yeah,
they helped him out.
What do you think about all that, Ed?
Fucking microphone's finally working apparently. I don't know if you saw, but Blackburn released a statement yesterday. Where they're doing now a king or queen of the jungle for every game. So that chair that they used to announce the throne that they used that Chad sat on,
they're gonna have it on the field.
They're gonna have it in the stadium somewhere, and it's gonna be either a fan or they said it could be possibly like a former player or something like that. Is gonna be able to sit in that chair, and they're gonna be the ones who lead the Who Day every time, and hear the Bengals roaring song. So I mean that's pretty cool. Plus she said
every touchdown.
Yeah. And then plus she said she's putting a quote from her grandfather up on the like the last thing the players see, something about winning makes believers or something like that. I don't know what the full quote is. I should pull it up later.
Like kind of in the tunnel, on the tunnel to like
it's the last thing they see.
So I saw a bunch of stuff about like the King of the Jungle thing like all over
Twitter like
yesterday, but I didn't get around to reading the article, so
yeah, well, this year's slogan is like "Rule the Jungle."
Okay, are you going to be the King of the Jungle at one game, Ed?
If they let me, I will. Yeah, that's no problem. I can do that.
What if they tell you that you have to like grow your beard out a little bit more and then put black stripes in it?
I'm cool with that. Also, well, that's what that Gary guy does. But also,
Reds win.
Thanks, Aaron.
Hold on, I gotta see it. Hold on.
AG gets the save.
Hey, way to go, AG! And then he points to the dugout.
Oh, yo, count on AG.
Count on AG. That guy's fired up.
By the way, do you know that three quarters hoodie that Castellanos always wears in the black and gray? One. It's so sold out. Like every day, it's sold out.
Sold out.
I check all the time.
Is it on like
MLB.com.
MLB shop?
Yep.
Is it cool enough outside for a hoodie right now?
Wait,
It is when it's three. It's three quarters.
That looks like he cut the sleeves on that.
Nope.
It
That's
looks
how
like
you
all
buy
of
it.
them have things on it.
You
No,
buy it
look,
like that?
Yes.
I want that.
Same, but it's sold out every day, and I've never seen anyone else wear it.
hey, what would you guys think if I became a super fan and I was like the Macho Man Randy Savage of the super fans?
Have at it, Ed. I would be all
You have
over
to have
it.
season tickets.
The Reds' 8th win in Miley's last 9 starts. The man knows how to right the ship. You know?
He is the Incredible Hulk.
All right, Reds. I believe again. I believe.
Hey, Reds Twitter is just like Cincinnati weather. It changes every 30 minutes.
It does. And like now we're 6.5 games out, and he's got the Hulk tattoo back on the forearm.
Does he? Oh, he sure does. I wonder if he got it
just-
permanently.
I don't know. He said he was. Look, they all have the 3/4.
I'm saying I've never seen anybody like out in public wearing that hoodie
Oh,
ever. Not ever once. And it's always sold out. Like, did you make 4 of them and you gave them all to the team and that was it?
There's more
I don't
than
know.
4 players on the team.
But I don't see anybody other than Castellanos ever wearing it.
I'm gonna tweet at the Reds and tell them that I want one.
Maybe they only made one of them.
I mean, like I'll pay for it. I just want one.
Good luck. Let me know how that works out for you.
I just want one.
They don't have any in the shop either. Last time I was at the game.
Really? Yeah,
I know.
You know what they do have in the shop? You know what they do have in the shop? The
What?
Liam Castellanos shirt.
Yes. So I am going to be going down to Cincy Shirts one day this week to pick up one for the one.
I'm mad at Cincy shirts right now.
Why?
Because I hit them on Facebook. I hit them on Twitter. Because I shopped in their store for the buy one before during the All-Star break before the first game at 7:10, and any baseball shirt is buy one get one half off. Went in there, bought 2 baseball shirts. The little girl that was working the counter at the store in Rookwood looked at me and she said, "What sale are you talking about?" I said, "The buy one get one baseball half off." She said, "We don't have that sale here."
Yeah, sometimes you have to. It was. I think it was online only.
That wasn't put anywhere in the description of said sale. I screenshotted the shit out of it on both Facebook and Twitter.
Sometimes
Did you only end up getting one shirt then, Aaron?
No,
or
I
did
still
you
got
get-
2. She just wouldn't give me money back.
Sometimes you do have to like show
And-
them like the actual picture because like at the end of each one of their podcasts they give us a code and it's like 20% off if
Yeah,
you buy
no,
in the
that
store
was
online.
everything they were advertising. Come to our store. It's buy one get one half off.
I understand, but sometimes you have to like sometimes
No. That's not how it works. When it says come to our store, buy one get one half off.
So all you have to do is just show them. Like
Wait, is that not?
I
that
did
is-
that.
so many times. Like last time I went in there to buy a shirt, I said, and the code that I just listened to on the podcast is this, and the guy had to look behind him,
That
and
wasn't a code.
but what I'm saying is, if you showed him the picture that said
A
buy
sale
one-
is a sale.
Aaron,
Why aren't they responding to me on the social media?
if you
Because they know
send-
they're wrong.
no stop, if you send them. If you go to their contact us on their website, they will contact you back. I've contacted them twice about issues, and they contact you like right away and get it cleared up.
Well, not on Twitter, not on Facebook Messenger. And I have 2 more shirts at least that I want to buy.
But anyways, I am gonna go down there and get the Liam Castellanos shirt, and we'll give it away in the 100th episode. What size do you think I should get? Large, extra large? What do you think I should get?
I'll just go large.
I was thinking just large.
Yeah. And then did you pick wasn't there another company that we don't have to like specifically mention it right this second,
I'm
but
talking
like
to him. Yeah, I'm talking to him.
working that out, and then
Yeah.
okay.
We're 5 episodes away after tonight.
We're 5 episodes away.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Well, because
like-
Aaron said the throwback.
I'm only like
episode-
a quarter of it, so
Jeff doesn't stop talking ever when you're trying
Yeah.
to talk, Ed.
my
He
fi-
just
my-
barrels through everything.
My microphone doesn't work. But because Aaron said we shouldn't do the throwbacks, and so I
shouldn't.
and so I did go to a podcast group on Facebook that I'm a part of, and I asked, and they said no, you shouldn't. So okay, I agree with you. So
It didn't matter that I said it. It was what everybody else said.
Hey, I'm just trying to stay with the standards, man, of the industry. You know what I mean? Like, are you in the?
I love it, Ed. I love it.
It's just a really interesting night. Can I share something with you guys that I heard about on the Tony Pike show yesterday?
Yes,
sure.
Okay, so do you guys remember the City Connect jerseys that Major League Baseball did this year, and how much of a flop that was?
There was only like 4 of them, right?
And all of them sucked, I think.
No, the White Sox were good.
Okay. Well, this gentleman, Jesse Alkire, he is.
Oh. Wait a minute.
Yes.
Is this the thing, Ed?
The thing that I put in the link earlier that I asked you guys not to look at?
Yes.
I didn't click it.
Okay. I just want to make sure that this is what you're waiting for our live reaction to.
This is it. It's the live reaction thing. So the NFL is not doing this, but he went ahead and put together, like, if the NFL was doing City Connect jerseys, like this is what he thought the jerseys would look like and the story behind them. So you have some great jerseys in here, right? You got Baltimore Ravens. I mean, that goes along with their colors. It's purple.
It doesn't look any different than their regular jerseys.
That doesn't. You're right. That is absolutely correct. But
I mean, it does. It's got a little bit of a different like pattern on it.
Meh.
Atlanta's is pink because it's promoting a 2 Chainz album. Apparently, there's a building in downtown Atlanta that is pink that was used in a 2 Chainz, and it's now become like a famous building or whatever. So you got all these cool, the Carolina Panthers. That's the Speedway. That's the NASCAR, right? Because Carolina,
the Chicago Bears looks like the Titans.
It does kind of look the Titans. What are they saying? Symbolizes the the best moments of the city and provides some inspiration for the.
By the way, any of you who are actually listening to this and give a damn that want to see these jerseys, you can check out our YouTube video. You can find us at
Pardon the Punctuation.
Pardon Punctuation on YouTube.
So here's the Bengals. So before you read this here, does that not look like it's like an FC Cincinnati jersey, like FC Cincinnati colors? It's blue and orange.
I disagree. I immediately thought it looked like something from the Patriot, and then I started reading and saw Civil War. Like it went in that order. But ours, here's the story of the City Edition Cincinnati Bengals jersey. During an 1862 Civil War offensive, 60,000 townspeople and farmers banded together as volunteers called the Squirrel Hunters to outnumber advancing Confederate troops in the defense of Cincinnati, inspiring the City Edition jersey.
I like
this. This is what he chose to represent our city, the 1862 Civil War Squirrel Hunters.
I like it.
It doesn't do
really?
anything.
The Squirrel Hunters?
I mean, what else do you want them to do? You saw what happened when the MLB tried to put out hats that looked like they had like a chili pepper and like a bowl of dog food.
That's fair. all the other.
At least this has some kind of like real.
There's no Buckeyes. Thank God, there's no Buckeyes.
Yeah,
that is correct. But like, think of all the other history that Cincinnati has: brewing, Porkopolis, right? You could have made this pink, and it could have been, it had something to do with this could have had German colors. This could have had. I mean, thank you to the Squirrel Hunters for going on the offensive in the Civil War.
Squirrels.
I just don't. Why you choose the Squirrel Hunters?
I don't know. I like it.
I think
it's better than what I think it's better than what the MLB actually put out for the hats, and then had to retract. Some of these are pretty good.
Yeah, some of them are pretty dope, and then you get ours.
I don't think ours is that bad. The New York Jets one looks like the Seahawks.
Well, there you go. New York Jets. It's themed by the NYPD.
That's Giants.
That's the Giants. The next one is the Jets that looks like a Seahawks jersey.
I mean, NYPD themed. That's pretty cool. Yeah, the Giants does look like it's a Seahawks jersey, or like a.
Oh, but okay, I get it though. It's the NYFD, the protective bunker gear that they wear. It's all that.
Oh,
that,
it
like,
does
neon.
have the even with the reflective shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
Philadelphia Eagles looks like something from Wild and Crazy Kids back on Nickelodeon back in the day.
Where's that?
Cool.
Which one?
Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, it does.
Oh, it does look like that. Yeah. Or
Like
Wild
it.
and Out. Something you would have seen on Wild and Out. I don't know. I'm sorry.
The Redskins.
That's
I
not
guess
even
they're
their name.
The Washington football team looks like a Saints jersey.
Aren't they going to be like the Red Wolves or something? I think
I
that's
don't know. Did it leak? Did it leak? I didn't think they announced what it was yet.
They haven't announced it, but I'm pretty sure that's the only one of those teams that has something patent pending or the website's actually taken. If you go into a deep dive for like websites.
Oh, okay. I see. So like they kind of what?
They tipped well, that was like a year ago.
Oh, okay. Huh. That'll be interesting. I actually kind of like that name.
The Red Wolves.
I don't know what it has to do. I don't know what it has to do with like
nothing. They just didn't want to change too much. I don't know how that works with the pig masks that everybody wears.
I don't know.
But I never knew what the pig masks had to do with the Redskins anyway.
And you could probably tweet a link out to that website as well.
I can do that. I will do that. I'll put it in the description of the podcast too.
Yeah.
So we kind of wrapping up here.
I think so. I think the thing I was so excited about all week when I heard it.
I do want to drop the fact that we've been in close contact with one of our friends here of late, and we may be adding a regular guest to the show. I'm going to wait just because I don't want to get ahead of ourselves here. But I think it should be very exciting in the way that we may be able to drop some content and continue growing that relationship from a recent guest. So
it'd be cool. Real cool.
There's my face.
That's a horrible freeze frame for that exciting news.
I hate my computer.
Yeah, we
I have no issue. I have no issues on Zoom. It's just StreamYard.
Strange.
Oh, that's nice.
So the Reds won tonight. That's exciting. They win again tomorrow. Win the series. Take that momentum through into the trade deadline. Maybe make some moves to shore up some deficiencies, and then make a run at the division. Which I actually think they really can. I think that the Brewers may come back down to earth a little bit, and the Reds can tighten things up. Hopefully the Cubs continue to sell off and just continue to cub.
Listen, I'd take Chris Bryant for Eugenio Suarez
or Akiyama
or both.
Where's Chris Bryant?
Thing. Like I like that guy. He's a nice guy. Seems
Chris
nice.
Bryant.
Oh, we didn't even talk about that.
You have something else, Ed, that you want to like squeeze in?
Well,
here
the thing that Aaron told me to ask again in a couple hours.
Oh,
okay.
We're probably way past that right now, though.
No, you can fire it out there.
We'll
hodgepodge it into the end.
I don't have the Twitter right here, but
we're Podge and Hodges.
Is it Chatterbox? Is that the name of the company?
Was it a shirt?
Did you say Sakala?
No. I'm talking about deep to left field.
Sakala.
What the hell is
Chatterbox Sports?
Chatterbox Sports has apparently hired Tom Brenneman to be a part of their, Tom with an H, to be a part of their broadcast or whatever. And apparently he's really embracing this deep drive to left field thing, because he, at the end of his little interview, and I'm not going to pull it up now because I don't think I have the abilities, but he says, and he points off the camera and he says, "Is that a deep drive to left field over there?" Like, is him embracing that worse than Xavier fans embracing the zip 'em up phrase?
I think it's all shit. Like, just you, you can't make something better when it's terrible to begin with. Like, you're talking about putting kids in body bags.
Yep.
Which I don't know why any coach was okay with that. And
I mean, their TBT team is called Zip 'em Up.
And well, I mean, TBT has nothing to do really with the university. But as a coach, like, I don't know why the coach never had an issue with that. And then for Tom to embrace, like, and that's a deep drive. He didn't say, is that, it wasn't like a question. He was like, and that's a deep drive by Nick Castellanos. That's like how he signed off on that video. And it was awkward, and it just conjures up the image of what you did wrong.
Exactly. That's how I feel too. Like, it's like he's making light of or making fun of what he did wrong. Like,
but
oh, it's
I think
okay, I said it.
I think that goes hand in hand with Marty tweeting earlier, last week?
Oh, about he wished
wishing that his son had been given more of a forgiveness and an opportunity, whatever, blah blah blah. No, you're just wrong. The same thing with Stephen A. Smith. Like, you shouldn't have been like just forgiven immediately. Yeah. Like, just because you put out an apology, like, you should be on suspension. You can't just tell Asian people that they need to know our language, and that's why you're not marketable, and that's okay. Like, the Reds have several players and have had several players over the last few years. In Cueto had a translator.
Yep.
And he was super marketable here. Aroldis Chapman has never struggled. But I mean, he struggled speaking the language.
Yeah.
But he always had a translator. Luis Castillo. And I understand, like, they're not getting necessarily like the marketing deals because who knows? Maybe they're aimed at white cis males. Sure, fine, whatever. I don't know. But that doesn't mean that you tell this guy, like, you can't be the face of baseball. Why? Because you don't speak our language. Fuck out of here.
Get out of here. I just don't think we should be, like, embracing that kind of thing. Like, it just makes it feel like that apology was not a real apology.
Well, because how is it any different than what Tom did? Really?
Oh, what I'm talking about Tom is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no,
like him making fun of the drive to left field just makes it feel like his apology was not sincere. And Marty can tweet me on that.
At me.
At me, Marty. I still love you, but at me.
Thanks for the signature on my banana phone. But at me.
It's up there.
Jeff, nothing on any of this?
I mean, I think you guys have covered it pretty well.
So nothing on any of this. I get it. Gotcha. Cowering in the shadows. That's fine. At least you got your blue. At least you got your blue specs on.
Hey. No
Where are your
headaches for me.
by the way?
What?
No, I don't know that.
I can't ever hear anything over Jeff.
He has the better setup. That's why.
The best setup. Oh, now he's hitting us in Morse code.
Was that an SOS?
Yeah.
Beep 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 beep.
Means someone help me. It's not help.
All right. Well, that was another episode of Pardon the Punctuation. So for Singing Ed and for Jeff F Howell, it's a terrible name. This was another episode of Pardon the Punctuation, and we're out of here.
Ba-dum.